guys, so today we're going to chat pelvic pain. Pelvic pain is where I kind of figured out this whole pelvic floor field. I was a physical therapy student at the time. I was in my second year of physical therapy school at grad school, and I had developed pelvic pain, or what I would classify it as pain with intercourse. So I had gotten married, had a lot of stress going on that time of year, being in grad school. I decided to train heavily for half marathons. I think I was doing 6 that year. Honestly, like overworking my pelvic floor. And with having sex with my hubby, the insertion wasn't happening. If it was inserted, it was uncomfortable and painful. Felt like 1,000 knives being stabbed into my you know what. So it was unbearable. I was in tears. He was so wonderful and wanted to know, trying to navigate this whole marriage thing. And then I'm feeling guilty because I'm having pelvic pain. The journey of it was not what you would expect. So at the time, nobody's talking pelvic pain. The mention of pelvic pain, and people look at you like, I remember being out with friends like, oh, I have pain with sex. Does anybody else? And this is like 2 glasses of wine in, and nobody's opening up about it. So I'm like, oh crap, like I'm the only one. Something's wrong with me. And I went and spoke with my gynecologist at the time, who just said, drink a couple glasses of wine, you'll be fine. Well, at the time, I wasn't a fan of wine. And if I drank it, I did not have a high tolerance. Then I'm passed out and can't get frisky like that. So it wasn't helpful. So I went to a physical therapy conference. And while I was there was a talk about women's health, and I came across pelvic pain. There's an end to this story, I promise. So when I realized, oh my gosh, this is me. This is the exact thing that I need. And that's what began my journey down in pelvic floor physical therapy. So I started specializing. I went over a Christmas break with another classmate of mine. We went and specialized in our first level of pelvic floor physical therapy. And we did like 36 pelvic exams that weekend. And it was awesome. I felt like I was at home. I understood what was going on, and a whole new world opened up to me. With my symptoms, I was having left hip pain. At the time when I would finish runs, I was having pain with intercourse. I was peeing all the time. I had bladder urgency and low back pain occasionally. So, and lower abdominal pain anytime bowel was being pushed through, or stool was being pushed through the bowel. So anytime I just get the urge to poop, I would feel that. Occasional rectal spasms due to clenching and tightness. But I didn't know I had hypertonic pelvic floor. So this is my hypertonic pelvic floor. We finally have answers because I know what's the cause of this pelvic pain that I had been experiencing for months, and got into some pelvic floor physical therapy of my own, started self-treating myself and figuring out what worked and what did not work. Water was a huge helper, and not drinking any sweetener drinks was huge as well, because we don't want to create any more inflammation of where there's already tension and pain and inflammation going on. So I had to learn how to move my pelvic floor through a different range of motion. So dealing with pelvic pain, if you can think of when you go get a shot, if your arm is relaxed, that shot is barely felt, right? That muscle is not squeezing around any nerves or any arteries. It's just tender, but it's not uncomfortable. But if you went and got a shot and you were very tight and clenched, it's going to hurt because you've got to go through a clenched muscle that's then clenching around other things. That makes it very hypersensitive. And that's kind of how the pelvic pain is. If those muscles are not moving through a full range of motion and they are clenched, then by golly, when something's stuck inside you, that muscle's letting you know, whoa, this is uncomfortable and I don't like it. So we just, as individuals, have not have not been told that this is what's going on. So the muscles are more clenched. Then they can be clenched if we are more anxious, more stressed. This area of pelvic floor holds on to tension and tightens up with anxiety and stress. So learning how to calm the nervous system down with breathing and other techniques is very helpful. Also, as maybe preparing for a little sexy time, you might want to do that as well. There are pelvic floor stretches. So if just like any other muscle in the body is tight, you would want to stretch it. There are ways to foam roll the inside of your body, not with a real foam roll, but you can use your thumb or dilators, and we'll go into this later this week. There are techniques to get into why we might be holding tension down there, and it can be from various things, and I may touch in on that too, like emotions. Again, anything negative tends to hold tension down there. We have found that the mouth plays into what the pelvic floor does. So it comes in utero being split at so many weeks of gestation. I think around 8 weeks, the mouth and the pelvic area are split. So if we tend to be a jaw clencher, grinder at night, your pelvic floor will tend to be more tense. So you can calm it down by trying out, a mouth guard or a football guard and see if that helps to calm it down. But if this persists on for a while, so if you have pelvic pain for a while or tailbone pain for a while, it's harder to break the cycle. So it'll take a longer recovery to change symptoms. Now for myself, I had probably been experiencing it for 8 months. So it was quite a journey to get it to calm down. And then postpartum, I had this again after my second baby, but that seems to tailor into more of a C-section type recovery of my body processing it as a traumatic birth. And so my nervous system was very heightened and very sensitive. And I had to go through a whole realm of exercises to get my nervous system to calm down to be able to have intercourse again with my husband with no pain. So pelvic pain is kind of my journey. It is my journey. It's how I got into this field, and it continues to surface at all times. So I feel like I have kind of been blessed in this field. At the time, I remember wondering, why me? Why am I having pelvic pain? But now looking back, I know that I was supposed to have pelvic pain to help all of you all out there with symptoms, because I've had the bladder leakage as well. I've had the prolapse. I've had the C-sections, which call scar tissue, and we'll get into that another day. But if any of you guys are experiencing pain with intercourse, hip pain, or just pain that's lingering that you're not understanding why you're having it and it's not going away, know that you're not alone. There's quite a few of us that are having pelvic pain that we're just too scared to speak up, or a provider hasn't sent us in the right direction. But maybe if you're wanting to just look into pelvic floor physical therapy, ask your doctor for a referral or find a virtual physical therapist and see if they can help. Comment below with any questions you have. I'd love to answer anything. If it comes into detail with exercise, I will get more into detail on that later. But I just want you to know you're not alone. Pelvic pain's real, and it can change. There is hope, which is great.